Deep in southern India, there's this incredible ancient site, just covered in ruins, that holds a mystery that's literally carved in stone. We're talking about Hampi. And inside Hampi, there's a temple where pillars of solid granite, when you just gently tap them, they sing. It's wild. So let's dive into this amazing story of science, spirituality, and sound.
So, our journey starts right here at the Vittala Temple complex. This place is basically the crown jewel of Hampi, which, by the way, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It used to be the capital of the massive Vijayanagara Empire back in the 14th century. I mean, the whole place is an architectural wonder, but the real secret, the thing we're here for, is hidden inside these clusters of amazing pillars. And right away, this brings us to the big question, the one that stumped pretty much everyone, visitors, historians, scientists, for hundreds of years. It just doesn't seem possible, right? It feels like it has to be a magic trick, or maybe there's some kind of hidden device inside. But the real story is so much cooler. So, how can a cold, hard piece of rock actually make music? Okay, so before we can really get into the how, we've got to understand the when and the who, because you really can't separate the story of these pillars from the incredible empire that built them.
It all kicks off in the 14th century, when the Vijayanagara Empire gets its start and makes Hampi its glorious capital. About 100 years later, a king named Devaraya II gets the ball rolling on the Vittala Temple. But it's really in the 16th century, under their most famous ruler, Krishna-devaraya, that the place gets upgraded into the total masterpiece we see today. And its importance was finally recognized on the world stage in 1986, when it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
All right, now we're getting to the heart of it. And let me tell you, this wasn't magic. It was an absolutely mind-blowing showcase of ancient science and engineering. The science at work here actually has a name. It's called lithoacoustics. It's literally the study of sound in stone. And what's just staggering is that the master architects of the Vijayanagara Empire were experts in this field centuries before anyone even came up with a name for it. They just inherently understood the physics, the relationship between mass, tension, and frequency. So this wasn't just about making something beautiful. For its time, this was cutting-edge science. And this image just illustrates the whole thing perfectly. Over on the left, you're looking at a modern acoustic analysis, what we call an FFT plot. It's basically a visual fingerprint of a sound, showing you all the different frequencies. It proves with scientific certainty that this pillar has a precise pitch of 646 hertz. And then on the right, you see the ancient, masterful carving that produced that exact note. This is a perfect marriage of art and physics, a direct line from ancient knowledge to modern science. So how did they pull this off? Well, it was a totally deliberate, meticulously engineered system. First, they chose very specific types of granite, knowing that different densities would create different sounds. Then, they sculpted each pillar to a unique height and thickness. Why? To precisely tune them to the 7 notes, or sabdaswaras, of Carnatic music, which is the classical music of southern India. They literally turned the entire temple hall into one giant, perfectly tuned musical instrument. You know, this engineering was so next level that it completely baffled the British when they were ruling India. They were so sure there had to be a trick, some kind of hidden chamber or secret device inside, that they actually drilled right through 2 of the pillars to see what they could find. And you know what they found? Nothing. Absolutely nothing but solid granite. The secret wasn't in the pillars, the secret was the pillars. But this incredible engineering feat was about so much more than just showing off. This wasn't some kind of clever parlor trick. This was a profoundly spiritual statement built in stone. Professor Vijaya Sagar, who's an expert on the empire, puts it perfectly. He says this isn't just engineering, it's the physical manifestation of a core belief. And to really get the why behind these singing stones, you have to understand this concept called Nada Brahma. Nada Brahma is this incredible, ancient idea that the entire universe basically comes from sound and is made of sound. In this way of thinking, sound isn't just something that happens in the universe. Sound is the universe. And so if you could master sound, if you could create perfect music, you are basically creating a direct line to the divine.
And this is where the temple's purpose just clicks into place. The whole building was designed to be an amplifier for chanting the Samaveda, the ancient scripture of melodies. I mean, just imagine it. You're in this hall. Sacred chants are echoing all around you, and the very stones of the temple are resonating with them. It was designed to be a powerful psychoacoustic experience, to literally elevate your consciousness.
And remember those 7 notes, the saptaswaras? The pillars were tuned precisely to them. The musical scale was built right into the architecture. The integration was so perfect that some have even called the temple a stone Veda, a secret book where the granite itself sings divine praises. The temple wasn't just a place for worship, it was an active part of the worship.
But this incredible legacy, this blend of science and spirit, is extremely fragile. And as we move from the past into the present, we find this ancient marvel is now facing some very modern threats.
So, to protect these delicate structures, there are designated non-vibration zones around the temple. The only vehicles that are supposed to be in there are these small electric buggies that shuttle visitors around. But there have been reports of heavy government vehicles just driving right through these protected areas, repeatedly. And every time they do, they send damaging vibrations through these ancient foundations. A local resident named Manjunath P. really sums up the frustration. He points out the crazy irony that the very officials who are supposed to enforce the rules are the ones breaking them. I mean, there are clear regulations. There's even a precedent of a former vice president of India using the proper buggy. But for some reason, the violations just keep happening. And here's the really sad consequence of all this fragility. To protect the pillars from any more damage, after centuries of people tapping on them, it is now strictly forbidden to play them. The one thing that made them famous is now the thing that could destroy them. The singing stones have been silenced. So we've gone on quite a journey here, from a captivating mystery to the science of acoustics to the deep end of philosophy, and now to a really fragile present. What we're left with is this profound legacy and a question that kind of echoes from the past. And this brings us to our final thought, and honestly, it might be the most fascinating one. We know the architects at Hampi were masters of sound we can hear, but what about the sounds we can't hear? This is the question we're left with. Could there be other temples, other sacred sites, that look silent to us but are actually using subsonic frequencies, vibrations so low we can't hear them, to create meditative or spiritual states? It kind of opens up a whole new way of looking at ancient architecture, doesn't it? The mystery of Hampi's singing stones might just be the opening note of a much, much bigger symphony that we're only just beginning to hear.